Hey everybody, this is Jeremiah Harrison and Michaela Harrison with Liturgy of the Home, and we wanted to make a quick explainer video to explain this year's Lent calendar. Also with us is Julia Lawless, my sister-in-law, and these two are going to have a little conversation about the calendar. Let's listen along.
All right, so I'm here with Michaela. I live next door, and we've been talking a lot about this calendar over its creation, and there's so much detail she's put into it. And if you don't know if you haven't been talked about it, then it's hard to pick up all the detail. And so I wanted to ask her some questions and make sure you guys could know about it too. So let's start at the top, Michaela, with the wood, the carved scene there. What's kind of the inspiration there?
This is taken from the first Sundays of Lent's gospel, but also it just sets the tone. I felt like it's sort of a roadmap. Christ was tempted, Satan tempted Christ in 3 different ways, and it's the 3 ways that he tempts us as well. And so Christ began each response by saying "Screak to mess," which is "It is written." And each of these things is modeled, and Christ modeled for us how we ought to respond to our temptations. And this scene is sort of the final, when after these 3 temptations, the devil flees and the angels come and minister to him.
Wonderful. Okay, so then moving on, we have Ash Wednesday, and we can already see there's something different about the size. Can you explain why some are bigger than others?
Yes, the tallest ones, like Ash Wednesday, this is a first class feast, and so for first class feasts, I draw them larger. They're the largest ones, and the writing is at the top, and so each of the Sundays of Lent is a first class feast, so they all have it at the top as well. But I don't know if for those that saw the Epiphany calendar, those Sundays are actually second class feasts, and so the titles is at the bottom. And so that's a quick way for children to be able to see, okay, there's something different about this day, what is it? And then the second class feasts have arches at the top, and third class are just flat at the top, and then there's no fourth class on this calendar, but on the previous calendars there's an inset, so the images are the smallest on the fourth class case.
Wow, okay. And then you can kind of see the
Right.
numbers too, but it makes it all really visually, you can just see it. That's great. So then we have some other little symbols here you notice right away. Do you want to explain those?
Sure. So the fish there's 3 different size fish, the largest, the darkest one being the Ash Wednesday, and then on Good Friday you'll see the same black fish. And there's a medium sized fish for the Fridays, and then the other days have the small fish. Those are lesser, still the Lenten fast, but the ones on Friday are greater. So just showing different sizes so kids can see what's going on a little bit.
That's great. And then you have the color as well, the ribbon.
Right. I think children, if the children learn to look at the calendar and see the color when they go to Mass, they can already know the color vestment the priest will be wearing that day. So like St. Matthias, he's not going to be wearing the purple of like the rest of Lent. He's going to be wearing red, and on the chair of St. Peter it'll be white. And that's a special thing for kids to start to see these connections.
Yes, it really is. That's great. Okay, so then we can see here each day has kind of a story, and in your previous calendars you mostly had the saints, and that's different. It's different on this calendar. So can you tell us how you decided what imagery to put on each day of Lent?
Well, the church, the season of Lent is unique from the other seasons because every day has its own special Mass, special readings. It's like a retreat that the church has prepared, and so it's so important that even saints' feasts that fall in Lent, they're put to the level of a commemoration, so that way the readings for Lent can be read. That only changes, I guess, twice for St. Matthias in the chair of St. Peter. So anyway, so these are images taken from the epistle and or gospel, and inspired by commentary from Dom Guéranger, mostly in the liturgical year, which is basically, if you want to know where this calendar comes from and the content, this is an illustrated version of his work, and it's an amazing work. I think it's becoming more well known. So the images are based off of that, and I chose things that I thought particularly children would gravitate towards, would help them to understand and enter into the mysteries of that season.
Mm-hmm.
So we should probably talk about the booklet, because part of the idea is that, you know, you want the children to understand it, but it's hard sometimes for moms to always open up and know where to go. So Julia,
when I saw her draft, I was like, we need to do a booklet. You gotta have the readings where they're just right there, easy to grab. Kids can read them, and the missal's so hard to navigate for children, especially, and tired moms that can't read small print.
Yes.
So I kind of worked on this to kind of put the picture with the epistle and the gospel, as well as the collect, which is kind of the prayer that the church wants us to kind of pray with them, just kind of throughout our day. That's sort of the prayer. There's a lot of prayers in the propers, but the collect is the one that's very like the whole day you can kind of offer. And we also have the second collect on any of the commemoration days for that saint as well. But really, we wanted to have the black and white that the kids could color, and as the parents are reading the readings, and then kind of a spur off from that was, well, wouldn't it be cool to have a bigger color version that you could kind of display each day, bigger print, and the kids could also use that to reference for coloring, which my kids love to do that. They love to copy. So this is coming. It'll be ready tomorrow, hopefully. So that was kind of the inspiration for the booklet. But and I think it's a perfect with Lent. We're going to continue it with even the Saints' days, but with Lent it was like, this is perfect. We've got to do this. Okay, so moving on, the next big thing we see is kind of this beautiful symbols you have here for the spring embertide. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So there's 4 embertides throughout the year. This is the spring one, where we are asking God's blessings upon that season, offering up prayers and extra fasting and penance, asking for God's blessing, but also focusing on particular elements that we have in the Mass that each embertide has its own thing we focus on. So candles are associated with this time, and
for the spring embertide,
candles, and the candles come from the bees, which are on the flowers, and so I kind of have all that in the image here. And the flowers the particular kind of flower was chosen because of the symbolism. This is a Scotch rose, which symbolizes rewarded fidelity, and since it's traditional to do ordinations on Ember Saturdays, I thought that was appropriate. And also during this time of fasting, we can pray for the priests that will be ordained to help assist them that way. And then this little image here is just not particularly to do with Embertide, but the pretzel is a classic Lenten symbol, and I just showed the child with his arms crossed in prayer.
Yeah,
to go along with it. So
wonderful. And then we have these other symbols that are in the carved border that have kind of a story. Do you want to go into that a little?
Sure. So these are just other times in the Bible where the 40 days are referenced. So Moses and Elijah, each of them spent 40 days and 40 nights in fasting and prayer before they went up the mountain. And I put that here because here you have the Sunday Gospel with Moses and Elijah right here. And so I just wanted to connect those so the children can see that connection. And then this is the 40-day deluge where it rained 40 days and 40 nights. And then on the next calendar will be the 40 years Israelites wandered in the desert.
Oh, wow, the 40-40. I see that again.
Yes, a lot of 40s.
Yeah, that's so neat. And then you have kind of the imagery going on in the Sunday Gospels. There's kind of a lot that's packed in there. Do you want to unpack that a little bit?
Sure. So the Sunday Gospel here is the Transfiguration, but part of why that's being presented to us is because of the coming passion. We see Christ in his glory. These apostles, they saw Christ in his glory at the Transfiguration, but shortly after they would see him in his agony, and would they be faithful and remember the glory? And so the church kind of asks us the same question, and so they put that gospel to us. So I try to add imagery that I think will help the children enter into the mystery of why the church is giving us this reading. And I didn't come up with this. This is straight from either the Missal or Don Guéranger. So I'm just trying to bring that forward. And then same down here, the mute man represents, there was a demon that was keeping him mute, and Christ expelled the demon, and the man was able to speak. And that's like a reflection of confession. And I have Christ's hand and the priest's hand in the same posture to show it's the same thing. And then both the mute and us in confession were kneeling and receiving God's grace through that sacrament. So I put that image there to help children to see that connection.
Yeah, that's really neat. And then one other thing that we didn't talk about with the symbols is the moons. Do you want to just highlight that, since I think some people may not quite notice that, especially when it's carved. It's subtle, but it's really neat.
It is subtle. One of my hopes with the calendars is that it will really help children to connect liturgical year with what's going on in nature, because really the two go hand in hand, and I want children to look outside and notice, oh, what phase of the moon are we at, and see where that connects with what's going on in the liturgical year. And so that is something that I've included in all my calendars.
It's really neat. It's very beautiful, just that touch. So wonderful. Well, I think we got so much covered here.
There's so much more, though.
There's so much, but
it's probably
can't keep you all day. But yeah, just you can watch this with your kids, and they'll be able to look at it with another multiple new layers to see, and hopefully that's helpful. And we can, if you have, you were saying if people have questions.
Yeah, if you have questions, please ask us. We might know the answers, and if we don't, we could probably find the answers.
Is Instagram the best place for people to message you, or how do you most like to receive?
Instagram's fine, or on our website is fine as well. And I wanted to also give a brief apology for some of the mistakes that we made. We caught a few spelling errors. I'm really sorry. We're still learning. We're definitely a small outfit here trying to figure this out.
And let me just say how much Michaela has poured her heart and soul into this. I mean, it is such a labor of love. So much work goes into every picture, every calendar, every detail, and it's truly, everyone says how beautiful it is, but if you knew everything went into it, you'd think it was even more beautiful. So.
Well, I should also, if we would not have the booklet without Julia. So Thank you so much. I think a lot of moms have been just so grateful to have that available.
Us moms know what we like, don't we? What we need.
Yes, certainly. And I also want to thank my two sisters, Kateri and Rose, who worked hours and hours. Kateri did all the Photoshop, stitching everything together. My sister Rose did all the painting for the border imagery. We had a neighbor who's also an artist. She came and helped me out with the color. We're painting everything at double size and then shrinking it down, so that way the detail is more, there's more detail, and then also that way we can use the images at larger scale for other things. So it takes longer, so that's why we're kind of scrambling a little bit to get it finished. But also, probably the biggest thanks would go to my husband for watching all the children while I've been working tirelessly on this, and it's definitely just a small outfit we're trying to build, so.
We should make a video of making of a calendar.
That would be a good next video. Maybe not tonight, but
all right.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. Tell your friends and family, and God bless.